Yes.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's start the Jujube session. Today we'll talk about the Jujube basics and the cultivar performance at 3 sites in New Mexico State. Here is my contact information. If you have questions, you can email me or call me. Actually, recently the phone doesn't work that well because sometimes we are not in the office. Jujube, also called Chinese state, because it originated in China thousands of years ago. Jujube belong to the Rhamnaceae, also called the buckthorn family. The genus is Ziziphus. All the cultivated species, cultivars belong to one species, Ziziphus jujuba male. There in China, there are over 800 cultivars there. In the US, my estimation is around 100. Thousands of years ago, the cultivated species is some kind of domesticated by the local farmers from the wild species like Ziziphus spinosa. They just choose a good tasting, big fruited one and plant them at home and gradually become the cultivated species, Ziziphus jujuba. They also have a wild relatives there, the Indian jujube, Ziziphus maritiana. This one is a tropical plant. So in New Mexico, we couldn't grow them. Even in the other state in the US, it's very limited area. I think a small corner near southeast California, also Arizona, Yuma area, and maybe some area in Texas and Florida. It's really limited area you can grow them. So this is not our today's topic for Indian jujube. For jujube fruit, the edible part is a jupe. It's not really a stone fruit because it have a little bit other part except the female part. The the nectar disc also getting involved. It's always have a pit, the hard part, and the cup can have up to 2 seeds inside, but some fruit doesn't have seed at all. For jujube classification, so far, most cultivars are from selection. There are not many by hybridization yet. So because they have a wide range of germplasm in China, most times they just by selection, they just found a really nice tree with good fruit, and then later they name them. They started the commercial hybridization breeding, but not many cultivars there. There's some difficulties there because of the tiny fruit and to get rid of the male part is a big headache there. For the cultivars there, you can classify them by uses. You can have fresh eating cultivars, drying, multi-purpose, also for processing and ornamental cultivars. Another way to classify them is by maturation date. You can have the early cultivar, mid-season cultivar, and the late cultivars. A lot of time, you combine the uses and then the maturation date. You can have the early fresh eating, mid-season fresh eating, late drying, late processing cultivars. Occasionally, local people classify by fruit size, but that one is very confusing. Some people said, oh, this is the big fruited one, this is small fruited one. But each area can have its own big fruited cultivar or each small fruited cultivar. So that one is not very reliable. By uses and maturation date, it's more accurate. Jujube is a multi-purpose plant. Its fruit, as we discussed, can be eaten fresh or dried or processed in different ways. Also, numerous ways in cooking. You can also make a drink or wine out of it. Also, for the dry fruit and the seeds are traditional Chinese herbs for their medicinal use, both the fruit and the seeds. For the jujube wood, it's very hard. It can be used for utensils or instrument. Jujube also is a good nectar plant for its honey production. There are some, in China, the jujube honey is quite popular. Here, the honeybee species are a little bit different, or they do not co-evolved as in China. So the honeybee in the US is not a dominant visitor yet, but they do, the jujube flower do have pretty good nectar there. We'll see some pictures later. The one interests me the most is jujube's adaptability. They adapt to wide adaptability to soil and weather conditions. In China, the only Heilongjiang province and Tibet didn't have jujube. For all the other provinces, all have jujubes there. The pH environment can be from 5 to 8.5. They all can grow there. Also from soil conditions, similar from sandy to clay soil, they all grow pretty well. The most interesting part is the late season startup. In New Mexico, we have the big challenge for fruit production is late frost. For jujube, they start everything so late. Like at our county, they leaf out around late April or even early May, depending on the weather. So most times they can avoid the late frost. They are not frost tolerant, but they can avoid the late frost. They also heat and drought tolerant. Jujube tree is also very precocious. How precocious? They can have fruit as the grafting year or the planting year. Also, they have a very reliable crop. Later, we talk about this one. Jujube also are long-lived plants. They can live over 1,000 years. Like 50 or 100-year tree is quite common. Jujube cultivars varied by their tree shape and fruit shape and fruit size. They are relatively winter hardy, like -20 degrees, they should be fine. So most time in New Mexico, the winter damage is not a big issue. Also, so far, there are almost no insect disease problem for jujube in the US. So it's very easy to go organic, especially in the Southwest area. For those in short growing season area, you try to avoid the late cultivars, also the high elevation area. You can see how drought tolerant jujube can be. This picture was taken at New Mexico State Tucumcari Station. The original tree probably planted in 1930s from a USDA cultivar trial, and later they got abandoned. They just grown there by themselves, probably over 90 years in dryland without any irrigation. They just, they survived. They didn't produce well, but they do survive on dryland without irrigation, just a rain fed. They do not produce very well. You can see occasionally they have a tiny fruit here and there, but they do survive. You can see this Jujube cane in China. This tree, on top, they're already over 1,000 years old. The good thing they still produce is not a dead tree. They're still actually producing tree there. You can see some tree, 50, 100 years old, is quite common. The next part would be the jujube shoot structure and the fruiting habits. We'll talk about the fruiting shoot structure first. There are 4 kinds of shoot: primary shoot, secondary shoot, fruiting spur, also the fruit bearing shoot. Yeah, we have the primary shoot. This one mainly for extension, the lateral shoot, mother bearing shoot, and the fruit bearing shoot. There are also three kinds of buds: main buds, lateral buds, and dormant buds. Let's do a comparison with jujube with apples. You know, they all have a terminal buds on the end. That's common. They all have leaves. They all have lateral buds, you know, like here and there. For jujube, they have lateral branches. You see here, this end is always accompany the primary shoot, or is a part of the primary shoot, but they function differently than the primary shoot. But for apple, they're different. Like for apple and peaches, they can have branches, but their branches, the lateral branches, are exactly the same structure as the primary shoot. But for jujube, they're totally different. They also function different. You see, this is a primary shoot. This is a 1 year new growth. This is a primary shoot. They have one terminal buds, a lot of lateral buds on the base of each secondary shoot. The lateral buds here and there at the base, if it's getting stimulated, they can transfer to primary shoot, but normally they stay dormant there. Also, their lateral shoot is some kind of permanent. They're the base of the fruiting structure. Let's see a close look of the lateral shoot. You can see on each node, they do have thorns. They always have two. You can see here, different cultivar, you know, some of the bigger, some of the shorter. They have a straight one and they have a hooked one. Actually, the hooked one probably hurt you the most. When they're getting older, the thorn getting less, smaller, or even thornless. But the young tree, most of them have thorns. The Lane group, Lane and thornless at Hagar, some of them almost thornless. You can see on each node, this is the fruiting spur. This is the young one. The young shoots, they're really small, almost like a bud. But when they're getting older, they really have minimal growth each year. You can see this is the young one. This is the fruiting spur. It's a mother bearing shoot. From the fruiting spur, they send out the fruiting structure that are called the branchlet. It's a compacted shoot. You can see some, the last picture is a young one. You can see this is the old one. This is a really fruit bearing shoot. And this fruiting spur is a compacted structure. You can see in the winter season, they're more like the chicken feet, like this. And then you can see the structure of the fruiting spur. Each year, they only grow 1 millimeter or so. For this one, they're already probably over 10 years old. You can see the main buds on the secondary shoot. They do can, if getting stimulated, they do can change to primary shoot. You can see this is the cultivar soul. This is probably a dominant position. You can see this buds change to a primary shoot here. It's really dependent on the cultivar. You can see this is a sugarcane. Some people probably have the sugarcane with you. The sugarcane have a lot of primary shoot. You can see this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, in this lateral branch, 4 of them from the fruiting spur all popped up to primary shoot. So for sugarcane, when you do the pruning, you do need to thin some of the primary shoot out. You can see this is Sihong. This one, the side branches do not curve that much. So sometimes by the tip, they do the bud and the tip they do can change to a primary shoot. So it's not there. The main buds at the of the fruiting spur do can change to a primary shoot if they getting stimulated there. This is a real fruiting structure. This is what it look like during growing season. They bear fruit, on each one, they can have like a 0 to 4 or 5. This is what it look like in growing season. Because the fruiting structure is not a permanent structure, it's a deciduous one. So normally they fall off at the end of the growing season. But occasionally some cultivars, they fall off a little bit late. So you can see they do have this stage for some cultivars. They just hanging there for a while. Later, they will fall off. But most cultivars, they fall off, around the leaf falling time. So for the primary shoot, its main function is form the scaffold of the tree and responsible for the canopy expansion. For the lateral shoot, they always accompany the primary shoot. It's the base of the fruiting structure. So they're the base of the fruiting structure. On the lateral shoot, have the fruiting spur on each node is the fruiting spur. This is a compacted shoot. It's also called mother bearing shoot. It's responsible for initiate the fruiting structure. Also, it can transform to a primary shoot if stimulated. For the branchlet, this is a real fruit-bearing shoot. Because we call it branchlet because it's different than the other fruit species. It's not a permanent structure. It's a deciduous one, so they fall off by the end of the growing season. So we call it branchlet. For the pruning of the jujube, it's really minimal pruning compared with other fruit species. Also, they do not respond well as other tree fruit species like apples and peaches. For apples, if you have a shoot there, if you give it a heading cut, you definitely have like 2 or 3 branches come out. But for jujube, if you give them just one cut, nothing come out. This is really unique for jujube. It's called one cut stop and 2 cut sprout. So this one is really unique. We have some pictures to illustrate this one in the coming slide. In general, they need minimal pruning, but they do need attention, especially from those young trees. Also, the primary shoot from the fruiting spur actually secondary shoot actually preferred because they have a good, a branching angle. It's more permanent, do not break that easy than the branches directly attached to the trunk. Also for jujube, you can shorten the secondary shoot to stimulate primary shoot. We also have some picture for this one. You definitely need to remove the overcrowded, damaged, or diseased primary shoot. Also, some of the competition shoots there. The pruning and the training also vary by locations. In some of the warmer area, like California, like Lee, they produce pretty well, also respond well for the 1 year shoot fruiting. I have some jujube training and pruning basic. Here's the link. You can download it for free from MSU website. You can see this is the tree. When I first got here around 2010, they didn't do any pruning. So each tree just 1 way up without any branches. You see here, almost the same thing, So for young tree, you do need some attention to stimulate some set branches. You do not want your tree, 20 feet tall and with a few fruit hanging on the top, and you couldn't reach. So you do need do something. You can see here, this is a primary shoot from you shorten the second branch. This is the primary shoot come here. This one's really more desirable than those directly from the trunk. You can see some cultivar, the branch angle is good, but for this cultivar, you can see the one directly from the trunk, this angle is too narrow. If this one have a heavy crop, they will snap here. On the other hand, you can see some of the primary shoot, the big branches from the side branches, this one is preferred because they have a really good connection at the base. So they're more stable. They do not break that easy as some of the narrow angled branches here. You can see here the similar thing. This kind of branch actually preferred. You just, if you have the, you want some, let's see, we have another one or not. If you want a branch here, you just cut it short to 1 or 2 nodes. Actually, they do not guaranteed to come out the first year. Some of them come out the first year, even they shorten them. Some of them may come out the second year, or some of them never respond. So Jujube do not respond that well for pruning, but you shorten them definitely help. They may come out the first year or the next year. This one illustrates what is called 1-cut stop and a 2-cut sprout. For apple, if you cut it short, definitely 2 or 3 buds will come out underneath the cut. But for Jujube, if you just cut it here, just assume you do the pruning now. If you just 1 cut here, nothing come out. The side branches, the fruiting spur there, they do produce fruit, but no shoot come out. This is the 1-cut stop. What's the 2-cut sprout? Like you see the same branch. If you cut 1 cut here, you also remove the side branch next to it. During the growing season, the other branch will produce fruit, but the bud here will come out. This is a 2-cut sprout. If you have to give them 2 cut. If you just 1 cut, most time they'll stay here. After 1 year or 2 years, this bud later may still push out, but the first year, this is how they respond. If they give them 2 cut, they definitely respond this way. You have a branch come out there. Also in the nursery, when you do before digging, you can leave, actually this one is not very good. Probably 1 node is preferred. You can leave 1 node. Remove the really lower one, leave 1 node, 3 or 5 of them, leave them 1 node. Some big nursery hate it because, it's hard to shape them. So, but if you can do it, buy from local nursery, ask them to leave 1 node for you. And then you have a better, they have a better branching angle here, here later some primary shoot may come out here. You have a better structure there. The lower one, you should remove them. Maybe I didn't do a good job in this picture. The branches are lower than 2 feet. You better remove them. Yeah, you can see after planting, the same thing. You can keep your set branches, the short set branches, cut them to the desired height, probably 35 to 40 inches there. And also you give them 2 cut, because after planting, you do need your tree keep growing. If you 1 cut, may nothing come out. So you do need to give them 2 cut. You cut off the top, this part, also get rid of the first set branches there. You also make sure trim all the lower branches there near the base. For Jujube propagation, in China, long time ago, probably 50 or 60 years ago, they all propagated by suckers, propagation by grafting is really limited. In recent 50 years, grafting is getting more popular. The good thing with rootstocker, they're identical with the mother plant. So you still can propagate further or send out a plant to your friends because the sucker is exactly the mother plant. The good thing for grafting, is you can get the cultivar you like. But the bad thing is the sucker is only a rootstock. You couldn't use them. You couldn't send it to your friends because they just produce the tiny fruit, because most the rootstock in commercial orchard used are the wild jujubes, the Zidipus spinosa. They produce a tiny fruit. You can use them as they do sell the seeds, but in general, the fruit is not that tasty. It's small. It's not much flesh there. You can use, cliff grafting, bark grafting, or whip tongue grafting. They both, all of them work pretty well. Also, tissue culture, people working on it. There's some already tissue culture plants in Australia and Italy. We also try it. I collaborate with a nursery in Oregon. We're trying it. Lee probably started to available with them, I think this year from tissue culture. I also try to collaborate with some others trying it, but it takes time to get all the premium media for proliferation, also for rooting. It takes some time. Also, this link, if you search Jujube grafting, and you may see a few YouTube video. The one from MSU, we did it in 2013, I think. Yeah, you're welcome to watch it. You can see these trees are propagated by bark grafting. Bark grafting, you have to make sure, when it's come out probably 6 or 8 inch long, you have to tie them to a bamboo stick. Otherwise, they snap very easy. This is, you can see it from the whip tongue. This is a little tongue here and tongue here. This one, they stack each other very well. They do not break that easy, but it's better also support them with a bamboo stick. Yeah, we don't talk about the details. If you have interest, you can watch the video or search Jujube grafting there. I think nowadays the grafting is still the dominant propagation method. The tissue culture is just started. Hopefully, it's getting more popular later. But the tissue culture do have the limitation. The good thing, the sucker also the same. The bad thing, they're really good for a couple dominant cultivar, propagate them in huge quantity, millions of plants. If just for a couple plants, just waste their time. So they prefer a few dominant cultivar. The traditional nursery, can propagate whatever amount you like. Okay, the next part will be flowering and fruiting. Jujube is the blooming habit, the fruiting and blooming habit are different than other fruit species. Jujube finish flower bud initiation, blooming, setting fruit, and the fruit mature, all with one growing season. They, unlike apple and peach, the flower buds are initiated last year from last season. Jujube are not. Everything happened within the same season. So they're Jujube are less affected by last year's, pest pressure or weather conditions. Also for Jujube, one flower, they bloom for 1 day or just a little bit for 1 day, no more than 2 days. But a tree can bloom for 2 months because the different kind of shoot, also they have a flower cluster. So one flower only for a day, but the whole tree can bloom for 2 months. That's also why they have more reliable crop. Because even the early flower gets damaged somehow, weather or pest, they still have late flowers. They still can set fruit and mature. So that's really different than other fruit species. You know, the good thing, they are more reliable, the crop more reliable. The bad thing, you know, for jujubes, when they started to grow, and the branchlet growth, flower bud initiation, blooming, setting fruit, and the fruit development all occur at the same time. So the spring season, the nutrient competition is really high. That's why, you know, make the jujube fruit size percentage is really low, probably just 1% or a few percent, a couple percent there. They do, you know, compensate. They have a flower cluster there, but they do have really high nutrient competition. So the management have to be there. Otherwise, you know, you do not have a good fruit size there. This is a diagram of jujube flower cluster. They can, from each cluster, can have 2 to maybe 15 flowers. This is the cultivar, the Fitzgerald, probably have almost 15 little flowers. The structure like this. This is the primary flower. This is the secondary. This is the tertiary and the fourth level. You can see primary bloom first, and then secondary, and then the third level, fourth level. And the lower level may getting aborted because, you know, the high nutrient competition. So the jujube inflorescence is the same. The primary flower bloom the first. Later one, if they already set a fruit there, the later one may getting aborted. You know, this is a really big cluster, look like this. Some of them just only have 2 flowers or 4 or 5 flowers there. If this one set fruit, the other probably won't develop well. If this one didn't set fruit, the secondary may set fruit. Or if that second didn't, and then the third level may set fruit. That's why, you know, the crop is reliable. You see, this is a flower initiation process. As the new branchlet grow, it started to initiate flowers. You can see the flower cluster already there. And this is their blooming process. Jujube have small flowers compared to other fruit species. Like for apples, you can see probably 1 inch or more, you know, flowers. For peaches, same thing, 1-2 inch. But for jujube, they are only around a 1/4 inch. Some are a little bit, maybe 7 millimeters. Some are probably less than 6. But they are really small. Also, they do not have showy part. You see, this is the open flower. This yellow part, this is the nectar disc. Some stage you can see they have really shiny, which means they have honey. This triangle part, this is their sepal. The little spoon part is their petal, so nothing showy. At the beginning, the petal hold the anther inside, and later they separate and shed the pollen there. Roughly a day or a little bit over a day, they finish the blooming process. The female part is the part in the middle here. At the beginning, they're together. Later, they separated 2 little things there. So that's why they can have up to 2 seeds. This is an hourly process. For jujube blooming time, they do have 2 kinds. Then is a morning blooming type. Like this is hourly process, you know, the sepal split, and then, you know, the sepal flat, and then this is at the beginning, the petal hold anther, and then they separate, and then they shed pollen, you know, and then finish the blooming process. This one, the lead, this is the afternoon type. It's also hourly progress there from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the next morning, and then the next after 24 hours, they finish the blooming process. You can see later the 2 female parts, you know, stigma, they separate to each other. Yeah, they can develop to 2 seeds. Yeah, this one is a cover for Horse Sense in 2015. This is a jujube blooming type. Quite about cultivar, the morning one, some of the afternoon one. Yeah, I will talk about the details. If you pay attention, you can check yourself when the sepals started to split. For Jujube cultivars, some cultivars are self-fruitful, but not all cultivars. For us, it's really strict study. We use really fine mesh bags to bag the flower to see how many strictly can set fruit by themselves. It seems the Li 2, Redland, Daguazao, Accordion number 1, Xiangzao, and Dabaling, these cultivars all can set some fruit. And that's why some friends told me, oh, I only have one tree, but they said pretty well. That's why if you just have room for one tree, you better have a self-fertile cultivar there. For the popular drying cultivar land, this one is not a self-fruitful. If you plant one tree, don't plant land there. Land have to have another one to pollinate it. For the Jujube fruit set, it really depends on cultivars. You can see in the field, some cultivars set really well. Maybe each branchlet have like 4 or 5 fruit. Some of them only have 1. It's really dependent on cultivar. Also the weather conditions. If the blooming time, temperature really low, also really dry without much insect activity, the fruit set will be limited. Also, cross-pollination also help. If we have another cultivar or several other cultivars together with high insect and also wild visitors there, you will have a better fruit set there. Also, the nutrient competition. If you have too many primary shoot, they have too much competition for the fruit set part. So you better control the vegetation growth, pinch some out, or do good winter pruning. In China, the cultural management also quite popular. For some cultivars, they know they never set well by themselves, so they can use the girdling. During the full blooming time, they just get rid of a thin slice of bark to temporarily block the nutrient competition from the upper part to the root, and to stimulate the fruit set. They also can do gibberellin spray to increase fruit set. Okay, let's move on to the Jujube cultivar part. I imported the Jujube cultivar in 2011 from China. After the USDA quarantine period, we started to propagate them. In 2015, we finally have enough tree to set up cultivar at Alcalde in the northern New Mexico and Las Lunas at central New Mexico. Alcalde roughly USD 6A and Las Lunas 7A. And in 2017, we have another one in southern New Mexico, Landaker Station near Las Cruces. So there is a USD zone 8. So here is the weather condition at these 3 sites. For Alcalde in northern part, the average temperature is 51 degrees. For central part is 55 and 61 for the southern part, Las Cruces. The rainfall is roughly, between 9 and 10 inch. So this is their high temperature, low temperature, and the rainfall there. Pay attention to the 50. It seems the 50 degree or 10 degree Celsius, that's some kind of threshold. Above that, you can grow Jujube much better than the area lower than that. If you're in an area lower than 50 with annual average temperature, unless you have a protected area, you have to be careful. Commercial production is not recommended for those areas. This is the fresh eating cultivar part. We have a cultivar number 1 and Chico, honey jar, some of the cultivar listed here. We'll see them again in the result part. Alcaldi and Las Lunas set up in 2015 and 2017 for Landecker. You can see the KFC is quite productive, you know, at AL's Alcaldi, both Alcaldi and the Las Lunas. And also, let's see, when we have a sorry, I'm just a little confused. You can see, you know, this is the combine both Alcaldi and the Las Lunas. You can see KFC is quite productive in both northern and central part. You know, Redland also very productive, sugarcane and daguazo. But for quality, you can see this is the fruit size. This is the mean fruit weight. Alcaldi number 1, daguazo, Redland, Lee, Alcaldi number 1 and daguazo, they have really big fruit size, close to 30 or over 30, close to 30, 25 or 30 gram per fruit. But you can see Gaga and Honey Jar and also Maya, they're the really small fruit. They're, you know, 7, 8 gram, really small fruit. But Honey Jar, Russian 2, since it's not, we do not have enough tree, that's why it's not replicated. But the quality, Honey Jar, Maya and Russian 2, they really have the excellent fresh eating quality. For the soluble solid part, I apologize, it's white and jump. You can see a lot of cultivars, Alcaldi number 1, Gaga, Maya, they all have like over 30 and you know, percent soluble solid, which means they're really sweet. Like the Sandia, the same thing. You know, this one probably the best fresh eating cultivar there. You can see these are a few pictures of the fresh eating cultivars. This is Alcaldi number 1. This is the earliest in my collection, but also with big fruit size. The Maya, Gaga, Honey Jar, Russian 2, they're small but with excellent quality. This is some of the big one, Dabailing, Daguazo, Li, and the Redland. Sandia, this is the best fresh eating cultivar. Honey Jar, Maya, as we discussed, have really excellent fresh eating quality. Really super for home gardeners because the fruit size are small. For the commercial growers, they're just too small. KFC, this one good for both fresh eating and drying. County number 1, this is the earliest in my collection. Have relatively small tree than others. This one is probably the number 1 choice for marginal regions. If you have a shorter growing season, this one probably your choice. This one also self-fertile there. This is the drying cultivar, drying and multi-purpose cultivar. We'll repeat the names in the future slide. You can see Jujube, you know, and the mature tree is not very big, probably depending on your area, probably 15 or 20 feet or a little bit taller. But for young tree, they are not slow growing. You can see by year 3 at Alcaldi and Las Lunas, most of them close to 3 meter in size. This is for Landecker. You know, you can see by year 3, Landecker a little bit taller. It's understandable because they're in the southern part. In general, year 3, they're close to 3 meter in height. Peatleys, Jins 2 and Jins 3 are some of the small trees. You can see the yield for the drying and multi-purpose cultivars. You can see this is a KFC at Caldi and Las Lunas, both quite productive in the early years till year 5 to till 2015 and 2016, 17, 18, 19. This is I think it's year 3, 4, 5. You can see KFC is quite productive. Also Chaoyang at Caldi, and also Xiangzhou and Sihong, also productive in the later years. At Landecker, Jinkui Wang, this is performed the best, produced the highest yield at year 3. You can see this Landecker year 3 because this tree planted later. Xiangzhou also very productive in southern part. Yeah, this is a crowded table, but you can see that's on the average. This is the fruit size. This is a Caldi, their fruit length, average fruit length. This is the fruit weight. So you can see the fruit at Las Lunas as a middle central New Mexico are bigger than the fruit at Caldi, the northern part. Also, you can see the fruit weight also heavier on the average. The soluble solid, the same thing. The southern part, the same cultivar have higher soluble solid. In 2019, we compared Caldi and Landecker, the same thing. You can see the fruit size is much bigger and the fruit much sweeter in southern part than in northern part. This is a picture of the drying cultivars. The first row globe comb trees all from Caldi, and the lower part you can see from southern part. You can see the fruit from southern part always have a bigger and a rich, much rich color than the northern part. Northern more some kind of yellow. The southern part much more suitable for drying cultivar production. 2014 and 2015 are really good year for northern part. You can see 2015, the sugarcane can be pretty well because that year the growing season is longer. So for drying and multi-purpose cultivars, Jins 2, 4, and Peachleaf Huizao, they have really small trees than others. Sihong and Jinkui Wang have bigger trees than others. These two are really vigorous. In general, same cultivar, the tree in southern part are larger and productive and produce a higher yield with bigger fruit and higher soluble solid than northern part. Northern part, the opposite. Jins series Sihong, Jixin have excellent drying quality. Xiangzhou is very productive in southern part, but the quality is okay, but not that super. KFC and Sherwood can be used for both fresh eating and drying. I'll probably go through it a little bit quicker than I should, but this results all published in the Health Science, and it's all open access. I will list it on the last slide. You can download it for free and check out more details by yourself. Also, the effect of extreme weather, like in 2019, that year we only have 120 days compared to the normal close to 150 days at Caldi. That day, the last frost on May 24th. You know, the late from mid-May to early June is the temperature, the highs around like 40 something. It's not freeze, but close to freeze almost every day. And the early frost, really early, is September 20th. Normal days, we have like the frost around October 10th. So that day we have really short growing season, and it greatly affected the fruit size and the fruit development. We have the fruit and the leaves just dried up on the tree with lots of green fruit. Even Las Lunas, the middle central New Mexico, We also do not have all the cultivars, even the mid-season and late cultivars all get affected. Land decker at the southern part was not affected. You can see some pictures. The fruit and the leaves both dried up on the tree. This is the alcalde. You see that just like this, they couldn't fully mature by themselves. They just dried up. You see some pictures from Las Lunas, same thing, just a little bit later, several days later, but the same thing. We couldn't harvest the fruit from the tree. So for the northern part, it's really challenge. That's why, especially for drying cultivar, the commercial production is not recommended. Some of the early and mid-season fresh eating one may be okay, but not for drying cultivar. Home gardener, you have better choice. For commercial grower, the frost coming, you do not have, coming next day, you do not have your fruit still hanging on the fruit. Your fruit still hanging on the tree. That's really headache. In northern part, you see this is a 4-year-old KFC at alcalde. I think this is 2018 is another year with a longer growing season. They're pretty good, but they're not reliable. In 2019, we have them all growing on the tree. So in northern part, you have to be really selective with cultivars. But in central and southern part, you have more choice. You see, this is a Jixin land decker, a really attractive fruit. This is a late cultivar, very productive, but the quality is acceptable, but not super. You see the 4th year, we have 3 or 4 trees. The average yield is around 60 pounds, which means over 30 kilo per tree. Yeah, this is a Dongzao and land decker. This is one of the, this is my best fresh eating cultivar. I know you guys have a common question. Where can I get the plants? We need to work. I need to work with the nurseries. I tried a few, not that successful yet. I hope you guys also contact some big nursery. Let them get you involved. Because now the sellers market, even they only propagate Lee, they can sell them all. That's why they have no driving force to try different cultivars. But I know customers do want, different cultivars, with better quality. So we do need to, convince nursery to propagate different cultivars, especially some of the newer, better ones. So in summary, annual average temperature of 50 degrees or 10 degrees Celsius. Yeah, you just check your area. What's the annual average temperature? If it's lower than that, you have to be very careful for your jujube production. Also, the USDA hardness zone is not very helpful to determine jujube suitability. Since it is based on the minimal winter temperature only, the heat accumulation should be also considered. That's why, in general, the Southwest United States is more suitable for jujube production because they had the really hot and dry summer. If it's a humid area, you may also have more disease pressure there. But the Southwest, they almost no pest and disease. So they do prefer the hot summer. So even if you're in the Northeast, and we do get a lot of inquiries from that area, you can grow them, but the quality is limited because you always have cloudy days and cool summer. It's not very suitable for jujube production. Since our trials are in New Mexico, it seems Española County area is a marginal region. You can grow early to mid-season fresh eating cultivars, no late cultivars or drying cultivars for commercial growers. Also, because in northern part, they varied a lot with from year to year. Some year you can have 160 or 65 days growing season, and some year like 2019, we only have 122 days. It seems they need around 150 days minimum for the early mid cultivars. For late cultivars, they definitely need longer. So for southern New Mexico, like near Las Cruces, both fresh eating and drying cultivars, from early to late season in maturation, they all grow and produce well. So in southern part, you have much more choice. You can fresh eating, drying, all go for commercial production, no problem. For northern part, you have a really limited choice. The central New Mexico, somehow in the middle, you try to avoid the really late fresh eating and late drying cultivars. The others are doing okay. I know we have a wide range of custom attendees today, so we do not have trial in other area yet, but you at least compare to the weather condition in the trials in New Mexico, you have a better idea for your own situation. Okay, here's a reference. This one, the training basics, pruning training basics. This one about the grafting, and also if you search Jujube grafting, we also have a YouTube video there. The others, this is the drying cultivar, this is the fresh eating cultivar performance, early performance. You are welcome to download them. They're all open access. And also the lower part is the two review papers there. Okay, that's a presentation for today. I'm ready to answer some questions. Okay, let's see. Okay, the first one, the jeans picture of the, yeah, they definitely probably spray some water before taking the picture. They're not nectar, they're just water. Okay. This one, the question is, please recommend the Jujube trait taking high yield and also doing well USDA zone 8 and 8B and 9A. I think you probably have the similar for the southern New Mexico. Most cultivars should be doing well in your area. And the next question is about the, let me stop the screen sharing. Okay, the next question about the marketing. Is there a market in New Mexico for Jujube? Where do you recommend trying to sell them? We did some marketing. It seems most people try them, like them. You know, it's definitely a newer crop. You do have to some kind of build your own market there. We do have a grower near Madrid. His family, you know, did pretty well, I think. They market them near Santa Fe Farmer Market, also probably sell online. I think local farmers market, you know, also you probably offer some free samples to increase your sale. They do need, you know, some time for the full market develop. Also, Asian market always, you know, have Jujube for sale. The next one, can Jujube cuttings be rooted? What condition gives the best result? Time of year, humidity. If you try it, the green cuttings is better than the hardwood. Hardwood cuttings is really difficult, almost impossible. You have to have a humid, you know, and with a mist, probably, you know, every 15, 10 or 20 minutes, mist them once, have a cover to keep the moisture. In general, if you can use a rooting hormone, If you get a 50%, probably already pretty good. It's not a very easy process. Also, because the cuttings also limited. Where you get the cuttings, you have to have enough tree to get them. The branchlets doesn't work well. It have to be at least a primary shoot or the second branches. I do not sell sunwood to individual customers because that's too much work for me. I try to work with nurseries because that make a bigger impact. They can provide much more to influence more growers. This way, when propagating by seeds, it is necessary to have a certain type of soil or carry out certain soil treatment before sowing. Yeah, you definitely need to prepare your soil, but loam, sandy loam always preferred by all fruit tree cultivar, unless really clay, mold, Jujube adapted pretty well to a quite bunch of soil conditions. This one, would morning blooming cultivar be better for our hot and dry summer afternoon, or does that matter to subsequent fruit success? It seems both morning time and afternoon time, it seems they can pollinate each other. So it doesn't matter, which type you choose. They all did pretty well. So this one that I just planted a honey jar, which is said to be partially self-fruit, which will the tree produce decent without cross-pollination? I would suggest you have another pollinator cultivar there, because even the self-fruitful cultivar cross-pollination, as we in our study, it seems cross-pollination always increase not only fruit size but also fruit size. The fruit getting bigger, they develop better. So cross-pollination always recommended. This one asks when the cultivars will be available to the public farmers in the US. I tried to work with nursery. Since now they can sell whatever they propagate, they're not that interested. So I really hope you guys can contact the big nursery, let them to propagate some of the newer cultivar, and then make it available to all the commercial grower and home gardeners. So we have to all try to convince the nursery to propagate them. This question, is there a better way to mass produce the nursery? Yes, if you have you can do on-site just seed the rootstock and graft them on-site, but you do need a skilled worker to do that. I think some of the in California, some of the walnut or something, they do that. You just plant a rootstock and then you graft them on-site. But you do need to have a skilled worker to do that and have sunwood available. This one question is to receive link via email. This one, we don't know when it's available. Maybe tomorrow we'll see, whether it's doable or not. This question also, can you recommend a few sorts for plants? In most nursery, you're lucky if you find maybe just 2 cultivar. That's very common. That's why we need to work together to convince the nursery to propagate more cultivars, not only Lee and Len. This one about the planting management. You know, Jujube after planting is no difference than other cultivars. Mulch help, but it, you know, probably not live mulch. Live mulch too much competition. They're not that much different than other trees. You just water them regularly, especially in the semi-arid region. Before they leaf out, do not fertilize them. When they start to active grow, you can give them a small amount of fertilizer and do it several times. I'm getting lost. Okay. And you can, this question about visiting a research center, yeah, you can visit us. Just contact me before. The COVID definitely make it a little different, but you contact me before. If the COVID is not there, we're open and welcome visitors. Okay, is this end of the question? Okay, thanks everyone. We'll end this session. If you still have questions, you can just email me, yaos@msu.edu. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to start the polling for this session.